How's it going, guys? Inigo Montoya here with Mr. Pig. We're going to be showing our Tempest Rush Monk and how we farm with it, as well as going over the build after the run. I start MP0, kill Azmodan quest. I like the Tower of the Curse level 1 waypoint. There's usually an elite pack or a shrine, goblin, something here. Get that quick stack, and then I go straight to the Rakkus Crossing. I don't have a 7-sided strike, so I usually just run into these guys if I don't. Works better than hitting them. Here's another pack. Works pretty damn good. Here's another one. But I have my 7-sided strike for this guy. So we've already got 4 stacks. It hasn't been that long. The only time I really ever hit stuff is to rebuff my foresight rune or to gain some spirit. I'm a little bit low. I don't want it to drop below half. So I'll use a couple melee hits. I use the cyclone rune on sweeping winds so that I don't have to turn back around and kill the stuff that I run past. It helps pick up a lot of the trash that I leave behind. It's real important to get your 7-sided strike before the elite pack has any time to cast any skills, debuffs, buffs, shields, whatever. You can usually one-shot it real quick. Get the goblin real quick. This build is all about speed. You don't want to spend much time doing anything other than running and killing fast. I was getting about 85 million EXP an hour with this build, with this run. When I streamed for 24 hours trying to get from 94 to 100, I averaged about it was more than 24. I think it was like 14 hours, but I averaged 65 million experience an hour, and that was for a 12-hour stretch. So it worked pretty good. I don't clear the entire Fields of Slaughter. I'll show you. I kind of do a giant S. I cut across right there so I can get the stuff in the middle, as well as any of the elites that are hiding over here. Then I cut back down, try to clear anything that's left. Sometimes there's a shrine right there, but not this time. Then I go to the Keeps level 2. Everyone likes the Keeps level 2. This is my favorite place. My spirit's getting a little low. So hopefully I find something to punch. Here we go. I would normally just one-shot these guys, but since my spirit was low, I just used the time to generate my spirit back up. My spirit doesn't drain from Tempest Rush, but it does drain when I spam my Sweeping Wind in the dead zones where there's nothing to kill, and when I use my 7-sided strike. Nice, a fleeting shrine. Depending on the layout, I'll either teleport out, but since I have a fleeting shrine, I'm just gonna do it. Backtrack wasn't that bad. Ooh, some herb. Alright, so we cleared this pretty well. Let's get out of here. And then go back to the Tower of the Cursed where we started. And run up the stairs to clear this backwards. It's really important to properly set your buffs before you cast Sweeping Wind. Otherwise you'll have a weak Sweeping Wind. This build works better without a Fleeting Shrine as far as killing stuff, but it's not as fast. The slower you move with Tempest Rush, the more you're going to hit, the more the Sweeping Wind is going to have time to hit. But I like movement speed. I don't use the passive skill for the movement speed though. I like to run this backwards because I know which direction I want to go and which direction I don't want to go. Before I seven-sided strike, if there's a lot of whites, I'll usually clear out the whites before the seven-sided strike, or you'll waste it. It won't kill the elite pack. And then you can either end your run here, but I prefer to go to the core of Ariat and kill Azmodan. A lot of times I find legendaries in here as well. Seems to be my luckiest area. And that's the run. I like to end with killing Azmodan. He gives me a lot of good loot. If you're doing this for experience, you probably don't want to do this. And now I'll go over my skills and my gear. And that's the run. I like to end with killing Azmodan. He gives me a lot of good loot. If you're doing this for experience, you probably don't want to do this. And now I'll go over my skills and my gear. I use the Templar. He gives a 12% bonus to spirit generated. What you want to achieve is enough spirit. Oh, we've got an empowered shrine, so this is going to throw off the spirit. We'll come back to that. The gear that I use is an Inna's 4-piece set. I use the high spirit regen from the Inna's hat and the Stone of Jordan, and that gives me enough spirit alone to keep it 100% regenerated. So I can just sit here and run into a corner. Of course I can with the empowered shrine, but the other things you want to get are high dex, high average damage, high crit damage. You don't want attack speed. Attack speed will increase your spirit your spirit drain. So the way you calculate your spirit drained is you move the decimal point. So right now I have an 11.7. You move it over just one space. So what that means is I need to generate 11.7 spirit. Now I generate 11.87. So I'm only 0.1 spirit over the threshold, which is very good. I can sit there and Tempest Rush forever. The only thing I spend my spirit on is refreshing my Sweeping Wind, which you can do very many times. I use a Lifesteal Scorn, high crit damage, high base damage. I use the Nats 2-piece set. I wouldn't recommend this unless you have huge spirit regen on your hat and glove and your Stone of Jordan combined, because the ring always has attack speed. It's going to bring your attack speed up. I would recommend normally using a Zunimos's boot and a nice ring that doesn't have attack speed. This only drops my damage to 182k, where with the Nats set I was sitting at 186k, and this is a pretty decent Nats ring too. The other gear doesn't matter as much. I use all resist gear because my passive skills do not use one with everything. I use all 3 spirit regen skills. I use Deadly Reach, Force